Welcome to the Best Me podcast. Your best tomorrow starts today. I'm your host, Ellen Livingston. I believe showing up each and every day as the best version of myself doesn't happen on accident. It takes awareness and planning. On this podcast, I talk about planning for ways to improve my health, develop a sense of purpose in everyday life, and create meaningful connections so I can be the best me I can be. And so can you. Let's get started. Hey there, besties. It's me, Ellen. I want to talk about something we all have: relationships with other people. Now, you know, we have relationships with our family, with friends, with coworkers, maybe neighbors. And these are meaningful relationships because these are people that we love and care about. But sometimes a relationship can turn into something that causes you stress or anger. Like, for example, let's say you're at a new job, you're trying to meet people and fit in, and you have this one coworker who keeps stopping by your desk and visiting a lot every day. Now, at first it seems really cool that they're taking the time to get to know you, but soon their daily habit of dropping by and seeing you is causing some stress because you're not getting the amount of work you needed to get done and you're feeling rushed, and you start to dread seeing them every day. Or maybe you have a friend who is always late to all your girlfriend get-togethers. Like maybe you meet up for everyone's birthday and this friend is always late, and not to feel rude, everyone waits to order food and they wait to open their gifts. And when your friend does this consistently enough, you start to feel disrespected and unimportant. Or maybe you have a family member who relies on you to bail them out of every one of their financial problems. They always need help paying bills. They always need to borrow a little cash so they can get gasoline for their car. And because you love them and care about them, you loan them the money, but you know in a few weeks they're probably going to be back with some other story about why they need to borrow more money from you. And you begin to feel manipulated and taken advantage of. And these are all hurtful relationships because these are people you love and care about. And you aren't being honest with them. And so you end up getting mad and you may end up snapping at them. And then you start feeling guilty because you had an inappropriate reaction to them. They may even act shocked that you're upset. And if you do have any relationships like this, I want to share a quote I read a few years ago by Brené Brown, and it's about setting boundaries. And this is the quote: "When we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. This is why we sometimes attack who they are, which is far more hurtful than addressing a behavior or a choice." Now, when I heard that, it was like a light bulb went off because I realized it put the responsibility of having a healthy relationship on me, not on the person who was the source of the stressful relationship. It just gave me back so much control. So when that coworker who takes up a lot of your time starts walking towards your desk, you just look at them and say, "I can't talk right now. I'll catch you at lunch." Or the friend who always shows up late, you just look at them and say, "Oh, we already opened gifts and ordered food, but I'm sure the waiter will be around in a minute." Or you just tell that family member that needs money, "No, I don't loan money." You don't have to feel dread towards your coworker because they aren't abusing your work time anymore. They learn, "Oh, Ellen can't talk to me during the day, but she can talk to me at lunch." Or you don't have to feel disrespected by the girlfriend who never shows up on time because they didn't delay the dinner. They didn't delay the opening of the gifts. And what they learn is if they want to be a part of the girlfriend group, they need to show up on time. And then you don't have to feel taken advantage of by the family member who always wants to borrow money because they actually don't owe you any money. And what they learn is that their bills are not your responsibility. What happens is you don't become a victim of their behavior anymore. They are the victim of their behavior. And I don't have to wait for them to change because it's me that actually changed. Now, guys, this is not for the coworker who never interrupts you and comes up and sits down and goes, "Hey, can we talk a minute?" Or for your girlfriend who is always on time and is running late, you would probably call them and go, "Hey, is everything all right?" And they might tell you something like, "Oh, my dog ran out as soon as I was leaving and I had to chase the dog." And you would say, "It's okay, slow down. We'll wait for you to get here before we order food." Or for the family member who never asks for any favors, never asks to borrow any money, if they have an emergency and you're able to help them, you probably will help them because you know they're going to pay you back. Now, you may be wondering why all of this is on the Best Me podcast. Well, it's because healthy relationships are super important to humans. Let me tell you about an interesting study. You may have heard about it. It's one of the longest studies ever conducted, and it's called the Harvard Study of Adult Development. It's almost been going on now about 80 years. It started back in 1938 at Harvard, of course, and the participants were mostly freshmen. In fact, it was 268 participants. And an interesting fact is John F. Kennedy was one of the original participants. As the study went on, the researchers decided that they needed a completely different socioeconomic group included so they would have a more diverse, accurate study. And I believe they got a group of people that were from like inner city Boston, I believe. But anyway, they added to the study. And then they eventually started adding their wives into the study and then their children. And now it's grown to be about 1,300 descendants of these original 268 participants back in 1938. And what the researchers do is they have studied the participants' health trajectories over time. They've collected data on their mental and physical health. And as you expect, the participants who never smoked, had limited alcohol consumption, exercised regularly, most likely would live longer and be healthier. But they had a very surprising finding in this study, and that was our relationships and how happy we are in our relationships has a powerful influence on our health. What they did is they went through the data and they looked at the participants' health markers at age 50. And what they discovered was their level of satisfaction with their relationships at age 50 was a better indicator of their health at 80 than looking at their cholesterol levels at age 50. So in other words, the people who were the most satisfied with their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest participants at age 80. So having good genes is really nice, but having joy through warm, close relationships can be even better. It just helps us live longer because it helps delay mental and physical decline. So reach out to family and friends on a consistent basis. It's good for us. And if you do have any relationships that are stressful, set boundaries. It doesn't mean you have to cut ties with your coworker or your friends or your family members. It just means that you care enough about them to have a relationship that is good for both of you. And we all want to live healthy, long lives. So make it part of your Best Me routine to consistently reach out to friends and family members and maintain those close and healthy relationships. That's all I have for today, besties. Be kind, be positive, and be your best. And remember, small progress is still progress. Thanks for listening to the Best Me podcast. If you would like to make a comment, suggest a podcast topic, or just say hi, send me an email at bestmepodcast@gmail.com. I hope you'll join me next week as I continue to talk about how to be the best me I can be. This episode was edited by Adam Boatwright. If you need any help with music, audio and video editing, or digital arts, be sure and check him out at adamboatwright.com. That's ADAMBOATRIGHT.com.